Imagine a future where AI isn't just, an app you open on your phone, but it's more like an almost invisible assistant, perfectly tailored to your life, subtly guiding your decisions, helping you create, maybe even whispering forgotten names during a conversation. It sounds like something pulled straight from, well, a futuristic novel. And yet, Mark Zuckerberg is actually calling it personal superintelligence. Hmm. Today, we're taking a deep dive into this really fascinating, and I have to say, sometimes unsettling concept. Is it the bold, empowering leap forward we've been waiting for? Or does it paint a potentially bleak picture, maybe even dystopian? A lot of this vision, as we'll find out, seemed to center around smart glasses. Yeah, it's a concept that's definitely stirring up both, massive fascination and a pretty healthy dose of skepticism, promising these highly personalized AI tools, but also facing warnings about it being shallow, narrow, and potentially dystopian.
Right. And I think the core insight here is that Zuckerberg isn't just trying to sell a new gadget. Not really. He's attempting to redefine AI's fundamental purpose, or at least frame it that way. He wants to shift the narrative, away from that fear of AI replacing labor towards this idea of a personalized extension of your capability. And that reframe, well, it's crucial, whether you ultimately buy into it or not. So our mission today is to really extract the most important insights from the sources you've gathered and help you, the listener, understand these differing viewpoints and the implications of this really ambitious future.
Okay, so given this almost sci-fi promise, how exactly does Zuckerberg see this personal superintelligence working, in our day-to-day lives? What makes it distinct from other AI visions we've talked about before?
Well, one key thing is he's explicitly defining it not as the kind of AI that replaces jobs, which, let's face it, is a huge fear for many people. Instead, he calls it a personal empowerment tool. The core idea is that it's deeply uniquely tailored to your life, your goals. So imagine your smart glasses. They're not just showing you notifications like today, but maybe discreetly overlaying info about a project right into your view or helping you brainstorm on the fly or subtly reminding you of a social cue in real time, things like that. It's really about AI becoming this almost invisible co-pilot for your daily life, embedded directly into everyday devices, particularly these AR glasses, assisting with creativity, socializing, decision-making, all sorts of things.
Right, and this isn't just some vague concept floating around, is it? Meta is pouring, immense resources into making this personalized AI a reality. What's the scale of their commitment here, especially when it comes to getting the right people?
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just talk. It's a massive financial commitment. They've really gone all in. They launched Meta Superintelligence Labs with Alexander Wang, formerly of Scale AI, at the helm. That's a big move. And the figures for talent acquisition, well, they're staggering. We're hearing reports of pay packages for top AI researchers hitting, get this, $250 million.
Wow, $250 million.
Yeah, to lure them away from competitors like Apple, OpenAI, Anthropic, you name it. And look, this isn't just about writing big checks, though that's part of it. It's a strategic move. It feels like they're trying to essentially vacuum up the industry's cutting-edge brain power to accelerate Meta's own timeline and, well, maybe leave competitors scrambling a bit for that top-tier talent.
Yeah.
And beyond just the people, they're heavily investing in the underlying infrastructure, too. Things like custom AI accelerators, specialized computer chips.
Right, the hardware needed to actually run this stuff in real time.
Exactly. These chips are designed specifically to speed up the complex calculations AI models need, which is absolutely crucial if you want the kind of real-time, instantaneous responses they're envisioning with these glasses.
Okay, so the vision is ambitious, the investment is colossal. Huge sums of money, top talent. But for all this forward momentum, why are some critics looking at this future and calling it not just challenging, but unbelievably bleak? What are the core critiques being leveled against Zuckerberg's vision here?
Yeah, that's a really critical point to bring up because while the tech itself sounds quite alluring on the surface, there's definitely a strong counter-narrative arguing that this vision is, well, deeply flawed. The first major critique is that it feels more commercial than truly revolutionary. Critics are suggesting it's primarily focused on advertising, on engagement metrics, maybe not so much on broader societal benefit.
So kind of like social media, but potentially more invasive.
That's the concern, yeah. Secondly, by centering the AI experience mainly within glasses, some argue the vision lacks imaginative scope, especially compared to other maybe grander AI ideas out there, things like brain-computer interfaces or, nanotech integration. Some sources describe it as shallow and narrow. Shallow because it seems rooted in that commercial engagement-driven model, and narrow because it kind of confines AI's potential mainly to this visual medium of glasses. when other visions are exploring deeper, maybe more fundamental ways AI could integrate with us. And finally, there's the really significant concern about reinforcing the digital divide.
Ah, yes, access.
Exactly. If these personal superintelligence tools become essential, maybe for productivity or even social connection, but they're only accessible to those who can afford the likely expensive early versions, well, that could seriously exacerbate existing inequalities.
That digital divide argument, it always comes up with new tech, doesn't it?
Hmm.
But couldn't you argue that, like smartphones, the initial high costs might eventually decrease, making the technology accessible to a wider audience over time? Is that critique maybe a bit too immediate?
It's a fair counterpoint, and history does often show that trend towards democratization of technology eventually. But I think the concern here is less about the eventual accessibility and more about that initial period, the time where a significant advantage might be given only to those who can afford early adoption. Think about it. If these AI tools become really integral to, say, career advancement or making complex decisions, then a period of exclusion, even if it turns out to be temporary, could still widen societal gaps quite a bit. So it raises this important question, doesn't it? What's the acceptable cost of progress if it initially creates or worsens inequalities?
Hmm. It's definitely not a simple one-sided story here. It rarely is with tech this big. We have supporters, on one hand, arguing that this personal superintelligence idea smartly sidesteps the whole job displacement problem, offering augmentation tools, making us better, not replacing us.
The augmentation argument, yes.
But then almost immediately, skeptics jump in and warn that these kinds of powerful AI tools, they'll inevitably be used for mass automation anyway,
Right.
regardless of the original intentions or, design constraints.
Right, the automation creep fear. It's hard to ignore.
And there's another angle too, isn't there, about innovation itself. True breakthroughs often come from these really mission-driven teams, not just from throwing money at a problem. So there's this question lingering: will Meta's sort of celebrity hiring spree, will it actually yield the kind of creative leaps needed for such a transformative vision? Or is it maybe just a strategic land grab for talent, like you mentioned?
Exactly. So we're left trying to synthesize these really conflicting viewpoints. You've got the promise of augmentation, making humans more capable, versus the risks of automation, job losses, and this potentially pervasive commercial exploitation. It feels like the real debate isn't just about AI's potential anymore, but more about whose agenda it ultimately serves. Is it genuinely about personal empowerment for you, the user, or is it just shaping up to be a new frontier for corporate control and advertising? It's a really complex balancing act. And that question about whether sheer investment can buy true organic innovation, that's a big one too.
Okay, so let's bring this down to the individual level.
Sure.
What does this all mean for you listening right now? As this technology keeps developing, several key questions really start to emerge, don't they? First, will these AI extensions, delivered through smart glasses, actually become commonplace in your life? Will they feel integrated and genuinely helpful? Or will they just remain sort of niche gimmicks for early adopters and tech enthusiasts? And then, can Meta or any company doing this genuinely strike that difficult balance between empowering you, the user, and potentially exploiting your attention, your data, even subtly?
That's the tightrope walk, isn't it?
Absolutely. And are we really moving toward a truly personalized AI era?
Yeah.
One where these tools genuinely serve your individual needs?
Hmm.
Or are we maybe drifting towards a future where tech becomes this kind of invisible overseer, subtly guiding, maybe even influencing your life in ways you might not fully perceive or control?
It's so crucial for you, the listener, to really consider your own relationship with these emerging AI technologies. Start thinking about it now, because these aren't just abstract theoretical discussions happening in Silicon Valley labs. They have very real, very practical implications for how you will interact with information, how you'll make decisions, how you'll socialize, potentially in the very near future. It represents a profound shift, potentially, in how we might experience the digital world and even the physical world mediated by the digital.
So Mark Zuckerberg's personal superintelligence vision, it's clearly more than just another tech announcement. It feels like a significant statement about how AI might integrate with our lives in these incredibly profound ways, potentially reshaping our daily existence.
Absolutely. And ultimately, I think whether this vision ends up being truly future forward and empowering, or maybe something more foreboding, it really depends on who holds the controls in the end. Is it truly going to be you, the individual user, empowered and in charge of how this technology serves you? Or will it be the advertisers, the corporations behind the screen, subtly shaping your experiences for their own commercial ends? That fundamental question of control, that's something worth mulling over long after this deep dive concludes.